everybody? It is your girl here, GenuinelyDivine, coming at you today with a video all about Aries dark-sided traits. Welcome to my channel, you guys. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, and also remember to turn on the notification bell so you never ever miss an upload from me. Now, before we get into the Aries dark side video, I wanted to speak on the coronavirus and if I could be of any type of relief for some of the people who are really running scared during this pandemic. I just want to tell you, what is truly yours can never be withheld from you. Man's rejection is God's protection. This is something that I say to myself all the time, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I want you to know that whatever is meant to happen to you is going to happen, and whatever is not going to. And please remember to always use good hygiene just for the sake of being clean. Also remember that you're always protected. We came here with a purpose, and once we complete our purpose, then we move on into the next life. So don't be so afraid, you guys. This pandemic is something that has really gave the world a scare. This is something that has been, you know, a major thing, but I don't fear it, and I hope you guys don't either. So with that being said, you guys, let's get into Aries dark-sided trait. Those of you who are sensitive, please do not watch this video. You might as well click off now. This video is for the dark-sided traits, Aries sun, moon, rising, stelliums, whatever the case, Aries archetypes. That is what this video is about. When I say Aries, or whenever I say archetype, that means that you may not be an Aries, you know, and it may not be in your top 3, but somehow you have a lot of Aries in your chart, which means that you become an Aries archetype. You may have a lot of Mars aspects in your chart as well that can make you a Aries archetype as well. So it's a lot of different things you have to look into your chart to kind of like find out what zodiac archetype you are, okay? So let's get into it. So when we think about Aries, Aries are the leaders. They're the natural born leaders. Aries are amazing. I'm an Aries, so of course we are the natural leaders. We are the ones who set the tone for the rest of the zodiac signs. We are very brave. Aries people are extremely brave. They're extremely bold. They're extremely confident. Aries people are just amazing people, but when they are on the dark side, they tend to be extremely combative. They can be very argumentative. They can be the type of person who's always getting into these debates. Aries have a tongue on them that just won't stop. Sometimes they can talk too much or say the wrong things, and they don't mind saying it because they're gonna say it boldly in your face with the intent to cut you to the core. And they want you to get up and get with it because they're ready to pop a cap in your ass or a fist on top of your head. It doesn't matter, because Aries, they like it. They like to fight, especially when they're on the dark side. They're ruled by Mars, and Mars is the planet of aggression and war, so, and accidents and sharp metals and things of that nature. So Aries don't mind picking up something and cracking you over the head with it. Don't mind sticking a blade in you, whatever the case may be. If you get on their nerves and they're like in any type of fight or debate or something with you, if they get angry enough, they will hurt you because they are so dangerous. They can be dangerous in that way. Remind me of a Scorpio, because Scorpios is also ruled by Mars, but they also have Pluto, which makes Scorpio a little bit more dangerous than Aries, but they're both pretty dangerous type people. So you definitely don't want to get into an altercation with an Aries person because they're dangerous. So Aries people, if you are operating from the dark side and you're always starting trouble, or you're always getting into something where you're always getting into these fights or whatever, you need to calm down, okay? Start thinking before you react and stop with all the extra drama, okay? Learn to make peace and not war. Dark-sided trait for the Aries person is Aries people are extremely arrogant. For some odd reason, Aries people think they're better than everybody else, and they kind of are, but they're not. Of course they're not. I'm just kidding. It's just that they have all this confidence, and they actually do embody self-love. And self-love is actually the best love that you can possibly have. While everybody else is trying to gain validation through people or through things or whatever the case may be, or through relationships or love, Aries find validation within themselves, and that gives them a lot of self-love because they know who they are, they know what they stand for and what they are working towards in their life, and that gives them sometimes an arrogant type feel to them when other people are around them. So other people do see Aries as being arrogant. I do feel like Aries can be arrogant, and they are, especially when they're operating from the dark side. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes it is, because of the simple fact, if you're walking around thinking you're better than everybody else, Aries, and you're not, because we're all human beings, then yeah, that's a really bad way to be. You should never ever look down on other people, their intelligence, or things of that nature, you know, because most of the time I feel like a dark-sided Aries, they will not be looking down on a person looking down on a person because of what they have materialistically, but mainly they may look down on them as far as their movement, how slow they move, or what their weight or something like that is, or something like that, because Aries rules the physical body. So a lot of times Aries is gonna be looking at a person for who they are as an individual, not what they've attained in the material world. And sometimes they will show, you know, that they don't like it, you know, because that's just how Aries are. Aries is ruled by infancy. And so Aries can be like a child in that way. So they don't mean to be arrogant, but they are arrogant. And I know you guys are gonna say that I'm really trying to make Aries sound good because I'm an Aries, but not necessarily, because I really am like more of a Pisces than I am an Aries. Aries are just really good people, and they really don't have a lot of negative dark-sided traits that are really bad. And one thing I will say about them is they are very argumentative, you know, like I said before, the combativeness, you know, they love to debate, and they will keep arguing their point, and they won't stop until, you know, they feel like they've won, because they're very competitive. Also, they're negative. What makes their competitiveness negative is that they find the smallest thing to be competitive about, and even when there's no competition, Aries can still be competing, making people feel uncomfortable in a way. So they can be that way, and they can also say things that they shouldn't say that rub people the wrong way, because Aries is a fire sign, and fire burns to the actual truth. It burns to, you know, the realization of a situation. So it's just, sometimes Aries, you guys can just come off as being bad. But a dark-sided trait or a negative trait that I do find for Aries is they can be extremely impatient. Like, they can be so impatient, like impatient with people, things. They're just crazy. Like, sometimes Aries can be so impatient with a person that they will start like they'll be like, oh, you know what, like, let's just say a person is doing something and they're doing it, but they're moving slow. It was like, okay, you know what, just move, I'll do it, I got it, making that person feel like they're just like incompetent. And it's just so sad that Aries do that. Or sometimes Aries can be impatient with people who's walking slow in front of them. They're like, oh, I'm trying to get through, let me through, you know, but they can't get through, so they'll be like, you know, just walk past the person like, Jesus, why are you so slow? You know, sometimes they can be impatient like that, which is not a horrible dark-sided trait, but it makes people feel bad. People who do move at a slower pace, Aries, you can come off as making that person feel just really bad sometimes, so you have to pay attention to that and be cautious of that. Now, you guys, Aries is polar opposite to Libra, which means that Aries is the sign of independency, and then Libra is the sign of codependency. Now, when Aries are operating from their dark side, Aries can be codependent. They can be the type, they can really fall into that infant mentality where they need someone to take care of them. They can be the type of people where they can actually throw temper tantrums when things do not go their way. They can scream, kick, and shout. If you ever been in a relationship with an Aries person, you know this is true. If they do not get their way, there is not going to be any peace in the house. You know, like with babies, they want their diaper changed. It doesn't matter if it's 1 o'clock in the morning, they're gonna scream, kick, and cry until you get up and do something about it. That's exactly what happens with Aries people. They're going to kick, scream, and shout until they get what they want. It is either their way or no way at all. That's just how it goes, because Aries don't have a problem with being by themselves. So if you're in a relationship with an Aries, you're going to abide by their rules, or you can just go away and they don't care. Because of a simple fact, they are the sign of independency, which means that they're just fine with being by themselves. They don't need you there. But if you're going to be there, you're going to operate by their terms or no terms at all. So it really makes it very difficult being in a relationship with an Aries person, because sometimes they can just be too demanding. And sometimes when they are in their codependency mode, they can just sometimes need help with a lot of things. Sometimes they can always like getting fired from their jobs because they talk too damn much, or they say the wrong things, or they don't know how to control their tongue. They say the wrong things to get them fired. So now you're in a relationship with them, you gotta help them take care of things, but they're gonna bounce back really quick, but still in that moment you're gonna have to help them. Another thing about them is they can always be caught up in some type of accident, because Aries are somewhat accident prone to a certain extent. A lot of times they can just not be careful, because especially when they're operating on the dark side, because they're gonna be fast. They're gonna probably drive fast, or they're gonna ride bikes, or they're gonna do something that's kind of dangerous, but they're gonna do it in a fast way, which can cause a lot of accidents for them. So the dark side of Aries, they need to be more patient. They need to take their time and do things a lot more slower. And I feel like this is gonna help you guys a lot. Another dark-sided trait about the Aries for me is in relationships, is that they're so impulsive that they can sometimes come off as being huge cheaters, because the dark-sided Aries, they're very sexual people, and they're very quick, they're fast, because Aries is very, Aries is fire, and like once a fire starts, it's just like it's really fast, right? So Aries people can be really quick to get in the sheets. When starting a relationship, they can also be really quick to cheat, because of the simple fact is they're highly sexual, and they just need that type of connection with a person. And if they're not getting it from the person they're with, like how they need it, they're definitely the type to kind of like step out. And even when they are getting what they're supposed to be getting from their partner, sometimes they can still do it, because sometimes they can feel like they just don't get enough, and that can prove to be a problem in relationships for the dark-sided Aries. The zodiac sign Aries overall is a really good zodiac sign. These are really good people. They have a heart of gold. They're so pure, they're so sweet. They're usually very direct in their approach, which makes a lot of people respect them. And then also a lot of people either hate them. So it's like no middle ground with Aries. You either love them or you hate them. And that's just how it goes. Also, when it comes to Aries people, I feel like they are the type of people that are always fighting for the underdog. They're gonna be the ones to fight for the underdog. But when they are operating from the dark side, they're the type of person you can't tell them anything, because they think they know everything. And you don't, Aries. You don't know everything, and you're not always right. Sometimes you need to listen to other people and their opinions. We love Aries. I'm an Aries, so I love myself. So I really love Aries people. I also just feel like Aries, their dark-sided traits are just not that bad. A lot of times they do, when they are fighting for the underdogs, sometimes they put their nose where it doesn't belong, because some people don't want to be saved. And sometimes Aries aren't always out there trying to save someone that didn't ask for their help. And they really and truly don't want to be saved, which can sometimes create enemies for Aries. Although they're doing a really good thing because they are polar opposite to Libra, which means that they're very passionate about justice being served to a person, so they are the ones to fight for the underdog. But sometimes, Aries, you have to pick your battles wisely, pay attention to what's going on, and you know, before you start fighting for someone, make sure they want you to fight for them. So really, my friends, that's all I have for you for the dark side of Aries. Until the next time, you guys, I wish you so much love, peace, and so many wonderful blessings. Bye.